Today we're playing detective. We're diving into this really fascinating medical mystery, a case all about Addison's disease. And you and I, we're going to solve it together, one clue at a time. So let's just start with the main puzzle here. What in the world could possibly connect extreme fatigue, like you can't get out of bed fatigue, with a sudden intense craving for salty snacks, and get this, weird patches of darkened skin? I mean, they sound totally random, don't they? But trust me, they're all crucial pieces of the very same puzzle. And it's not just those three things. We're looking at a whole collection of clues that seem to have nothing to do with each other. We're talking low blood pressure, gastrointestinal problems, the whole shebang. It's a real head-scratcher. So let's start gathering our evidence, shall we? Okay, first things first. We've got to put on our detective hats and really dig into the evidence. We need to unravel this tangled mess of symptoms. So let's really break down these clues. We're not talking about just feeling a little tired. No, this is a deep, chronic fatigue that just won't go away. Then there's weight loss that you can't explain, or that feeling of getting dizzy every time you stand up too fast. Yep, that's a classic sign of low blood pressure. And those salt cravings, oh man, that's literally your body screaming for something it's missing. And of course, the most obvious clue of all, hyperpigmentation, that strange darkening of the skin. Okay, so all these clues, where are they leading us? It's time to go to the scene of the crime, if you will. We're heading to the adrenal gland command center. Think of them as these tiny but super powerful hormone factories inside your body. And there they are. See those little things? They sit like tiny little caps right on top of your kidneys. But seriously, don't let their size fool you. These things are absolute powerhouses, just churning out hormones that we literally cannot live without. Now, inside these factories, you've got two star players on the team. First up is cortisol, who I like to call the stress manager. This is a hormone that helps you deal with stress, keeps your blood sugar stable, and fights inflammation. Its partner in crime is aldosterone, the salt and water balancer. This one's job is to manage your body's sodium and potassium, which is how it controls your blood pressure and how much fluid you have on board. Bottom line, you absolutely need both of them to function. When everything's working right, it's like a perfectly tuned engine. What you're seeing here is the body's chain of command. Way up in the brain, you've got the pituitary gland. That's the factory manager. It sends out a little message, a molecule called ACTH, that basically shouts down to the adrenal glands, hey, we need more cortisol down here. The adrenal glands get the message, make the cortisol, and boom, perfect balance. But what happens when that perfect system just breaks? This is where we get to the heart of the mystery. What on earth is causing this factory to just completely shut down? And here, my friends, we can finally name our culprit. It's called Addison's disease, or if you want to get technical, primary adrenal insufficiency. It's a chronic condition where the outer part of the adrenal gland, the cortex, is damaged. And a damaged factory, well, it just can't make enough of our two-star hormones, cortisol and aldosterone. So what's doing the damage? Well, the number one cause is actually kind of shocking. In something like 80% of cases, it's an autoimmune attack. That means your own body's defense system gets confused and starts attacking your adrenal glands by mistake. It's friendly fire. Other, less common causes could be things like infections, like TB, or even bleeding inside the glands. This image here really just nails the problem. Okay, so the adrenal gland is broken, right? The factory's closed. Cortisol levels are tanking. But the manager, the pituitary gland, has no idea. All it sees is low cortisol, so it starts screaming for more, just pumping out more and more ACTH. But it's useless. It's literally like shouting orders at a machine that's unplugged. Okay, so we found the source of the problem. Now let's trace the fallout. Let's see how this one single failure kicks off this massive domino effect that connects everything back to those weird symptoms we started with.
Domino number 1. Down it goes. Without cortisol, the body has lost its stress manager. Suddenly, every single thing that cortisol was supposed to handle is now completely up in the air.
And what's the immediate result of that? Well, without cortisol to manage your blood sugar, your glucose levels just tank. That's called hypoglycemia. And that is exactly why you get that crushing fatigue, the weakness, the dizziness. Your body is literally running on empty and has zero ability to handle any kind of stress. All right, next domino. Aldosterone, wham! Without it, the body's salt and water balancer is officially out of commission. And this is a huge one, you guys. Without aldosterone, your body just can't hold on to salt. You start losing sodium like crazy through your urine. And at the same time, your potassium levels start to climb way too high. This dangerous imbalance leads to severe dehydration and makes your blood pressure just plummet. And that crazy craving for salt? That's your body's desperate last-ditch attempt to get back the sodium it's losing so fast. And now, the final piece of the puzzle, that mystery of the darkened skin, where does that come from? It all comes back to that frantic pituitary gland. Remember how it's just screaming, pumping out tons and tons of that ACTH signal? Well, it turns out that same molecule also flips the switch on the skin cells that make melanin, the stuff that gives skin its color. So with ACTH in total overdrive, those skin cells go into overdrive too, and bam, hyperpigmentation. How cool is that? A direct, visible clue. Okay, we need to get serious for a second. We have to talk about what happens when this whole system doesn't just break, but completely collapses. This is a full-blown medical emergency, and it's called an Addisonian crisis. This is a red alert, code red situation. The body is just completely overwhelmed. It can be set off by any kind of major stress, an infection, a surgery, even a bad accident. All of a sudden, you get a catastrophic drop in blood pressure that leads to shock. Your blood sugar crashes, and you're severely dehydrated. This is no joke. It's an absolutely life-threatening emergency that needs immediate IV hydrocortisone right now to save a person's life. But thankfully, our detective story doesn't have to end in crisis. Let's get to the resolution. It's time to solve and manage the case. We're going to look at how doctors actually diagnose this thing and, more importantly, how they bring that crucial balance back to the body. Diagnosing this is like a clear, three-step investigation. Step 1, blood tests. They'll show the telltale sign, rock-bottom cortisol levels even though ACTH levels are sky-high. That right there is your smoking gun. Step 2 is the gold standard for confirmation, the ACTH stimulation test. Basically, doctors give you a shot of ACTH to see if your adrenal glands wake up and do anything. With Addison's, you get nothing. Crickets. And finally, step 3, they check your electrolytes. Seeing that low sodium and high potassium gives them all the supporting evidence they need. So once it's diagnosed, the treatment is actually, thank goodness, pretty straightforward, and it works really well. It's all about lifelong hormone replacement. You replace the missing cortisol with a daily pill, hydrocortisone, and the missing aldosterone with another one called fludrocortisone. The real key for someone with Addison's is learning how to manage it, especially increasing their medication dose when they're sick or stressed to copy what a healthy body would do naturally. And case closed. We've solved the mystery of Addison's disease. We went from a bunch of really confusing clues all the way to a total system failure in this tiny little command center. It just goes to show you what an incredibly delicate balancing act the human body really is. And it kind of leaves you wondering, right? What happens when some other system goes wrong? What other crazy connections are just waiting for us to uncover?